Over the last 700 in-game days, I've moved to a new area, made a huge distribution centre, a giant processing factory, a power station, and more. We even killed the dragon with a flamethrower. And if I'm honest, I absolutely love how this area is coming together. So much so that today we're going to continue to expand by adding a brand new factory right over here. And that's going to be a factory for blaze cakes to feed our power station. Now, we don't really need the blaze cakes yet. I mean, our power station is currently only running one of the 4 steam engines. As you can see, 3 of them are turned off. It's only being fed by lava, which means it's running at half power, and we're not even using half of that power. So yeah, we don't really need blaze cakes right now, but I want to make sure we're prepped for the future. And what is going on with these tanks? That's weird, must have been something to do with updating. But yes, that's a side note. The pack has actually been updated on CurseForge. It has all the new mods that I've been using, such as Create Deco and Waystones. But alongside that, I also updated to the latest version of Create and all the additional mods and things. And yeah, I guess that's what's caused this. So when you do update, be sure to check things out and make sure things are still working. What's weird is it hasn't done anything to the ones up there, but all the empty ones over here have gone weird. I think that's got them all fixed. And who knows what else has been broken. Right now, where were we? Oh yes, blaze cakes. So to get blaze cakes, it really is quite a process. So to make the cake itself, we need to put lava into a blaze cake base. And then to make the bases, we need eggs, sugar, and cinder flour. So eggs, that's nice and easy. We'll just jam a bunch of chickens into a hole. Sugar is a little bit more difficult, but we have options via either honey or sugarcane. And it looks like milling sugarcane might be the best bet. But getting the netherrack for the cinder flour, that's a little bit more tricky because, well, we just need to crush netherrack, which is fine. We've got plenty of netherrack at the moment, but we want this to be sustainable. But in my perfect world, we can make renewable netherrack. So we do actually have a mod which adds recipes, and we have 2 options. We can either squirt potion of healing on top of cobblestone, but to make that we need glistering melon slices, and to make that we need, well, a melon farm and a much better gold farm than the one we've currently got. So that's quite difficult. And the other option is to mix andesite with netherwort in a heated bowl. But in order to do that, we're going to need a netherwort farm, and we're going to need a much better source of andesite than the current one. I mean, this farm up here just kind of drip feeds it. But then to make a more efficient andesite farm, we need lots of flint, which isn't a problem. We need lots of gravel, that's not really a problem. And we need lots and lots of lava, which... yeah, that could be a problem, because we're using this lava currently for the power plant, and I know this is to make different fuel for the power plant and so on, but we're going to need lava for lots of things in this area. A third option for getting cinder flour is, of course, just to grind up all the netherrack we've already got, but that's not sustainable. So in short, we're going to need a few farms today. We need an egg farm, a sugar farm, an andesite farm, a netherwort farm, a netherrack farm, and more lava to feed the whole thing. And then eventually, we'll have a blaze cake farm. And my plan is to try and fit all of that in here in probably a couple of buildings. Let's see how far we can get with this today. But with the amount of farms and things we need to build, there's every chance this could turn into a 2-part episode. Now, with our great big list of farms in mind, I think the first thing we should probably do is sort out the lava situation. So with that, I think we need to make an infinite lava pit. And it's probably going to make sense to do that down here underneath the power plant, where we've also got a bit of an opened out area. But we do actually need to open this area out a lot more. I need to be able to reach under this whole area too, because we're going to need delivery systems and so on. We might end up with more delivery trucks. So before we can even make a start on the lava pits, I need to do a whole lot more digging down here. A short while later, we now have a much bigger area down here, and this is, of course, still directly below the power plant, but it means we've actually got space to sort of move more vehicles around and get resources where we need them, which would be nice. And as you can see, we've got a bunch of exposed pipes and shafts from things that are already being powered. There's a bunch of stations in here. So yeah, there are things we need to be aware of. Now, we need a lava pit, and to make an infinite lava source, we need it to be at least 10,000 blocks, or 10,000 block sources of lava in one big hole. So I've done a bit of maths, and I've worked out that if I do a hole this size, which is 20 by 20, each layer is going to be 400 source blocks, and that means we need 25 layers to get 10,000 blocks. But instead of doing this by hand, because that would take absolutely forever, I think we're just going to make a whole bunch of drills and do it that way, which means I need to strip a whole lot of wood for andesite casings. I need a whole bunch of andesite alloy, and I'm going to need lots of iron sheets. And it turns out I just need iron ingots, not sheets. Whoops. But I've managed to make a stack and 14 so far. I just need a whole lot more andesite alloy. And I reckon if we make 100 drills, we can just drop it 4 times, and that will give us what we need. I I don't really fancy making 400 if I'm honest. So I've dug out the first hole and we're just going to repeat this all over. So we place down 100 drills, add a few chests on the back, glue it all together. Then we'll add a rope pulley there. We'll attach it to this. And look at that, down we go. And we just got to do this 4 times and we should have a big enough pit for our lava. Looks like we might have a lush cave down there. And then to bring it back up, we'll just stick a couple of cogs in and then attach a belt. And we just got to do this 2 more times. Whoops, I appear to be unaliving a whole bunch of fish. All right. Well, we have our hole. We just need to tidy it up a little bit and fill in these other holes that we don't need. This is where the grappling hook's going to come in very handy. What is that thing? Flutter? Well, it didn't drop anything. There we go. We now have a solid pit. That's good. Let's use the grappling to get ourselves out. Love that thing. So now we just need to pump a whole bunch of lava into here. And for that, we're going to need a hose pulley, but we do actually already have one in our bag, which is good. And we're going to need a whole bunch of pipes and this. And we'll need a hand crank as well, just to make sure it's sort of down a little bit, I guess. So let's put the hose pulley there. We'll lower that down a little bit. Then we need to feed lava into that. I think that's how this works. We should just be able to do that from here. Oh, slight spillage. It's okay. Everything's fine. So we just need to put this pipe in the right place and we should be good. And yep, there we go. There's some lava. Oh, Leggy Bendy Man's a bit angry. You're about to get angrier. Oh, he's gone. It's probably not a good thing. Spiders are running away from the lava as well. But in theory, that should now just gradually fill up. And over time, this will tell me sort of, well, it will tell me if it's going to be an infinite source or not. But currently, obviously, it's not. But if we just let that do its thing, it's going to fill up this whole pit. And eventually, we'll have an infinite lava source, which is going to be exceedingly useful to us in future. So it is pulling the lava from these tanks at the moment, which is the same lava that the power station uses. But we've got plenty in backup here. So hopefully, this will actually hold up while we're doing this. And of course, our lava train's still going to be heading over here and dropping off a load more lava every sort of, well, 10 minutes or so, I think. So hopefully our power won't completely drain out, but I guess we'll see. But it's filling up nice and quickly. It's already doing the second layer. And this appears to have reached its limit for now, which means we need to wait for more trains to come in. So we should probably make a start on the actual factory. It's raining, isn't it? Of course it's raining. It's always raining. But both of these have been drained into the hole, and the power plant still has its spare tank here, so we're all good. Looks like the sun's going down though, so we should be able to get rid of this rain. Good stuff. So what we need to do is work out how we're going to fit all of these farms in. We've got a great big list of farms and not a great big amount of space. But even so, I don't think I want to build the farms first. I think I want to get a building down because I've kind of got an idea in my head of how this is going to work, because of course this building does need to feed into this one with the blaze cakes. So if we put the main blaze cake production line here and then maybe have a secondary building, which to be honest is probably just going to be a sugarcane farm, I reckon we can probably fit everything else in one building. So let's do our usual. We'll grab some blocks, we'll get a platform down, and then we'll just try and build something that kind of fits in with the area, I guess. And in saying that, actually, because we now have the Create Deco mod, we actually have access to some sort of different shades of brick, which look pretty cool. And I'm quite keen to play around with some of these Dean bricks, and we've even got mossy bricks. Look at this. And to make those, we need bricks, which is fairly easy, and we need ochrum, which I'm hoping we've got some of in storage, but it turns out, if not, there's literally a patch just over there. So I'm going to get a few bits together for this building. I think we'll probably put in some kind of semi-automated machine in there just for making these Dean bricks. And I'll meet you back here when we're ready to start building. I think I've gathered what I need. And in here, I've built a small contraption, which is going to make all the other sort of different brick blocks for us. So at the moment, I want Dean bricks, so I've just put some ochrum in there. But I can also load this up with other things. There we go. Look, you see it firing whenever some bricks come in. But what I can actually do is load this up with whatever kind of block I want. So if we look at all these different ones here, to make them, it's just the block in the middle that's different. So depending what we put into this drawer here, depends on what block we get out. Around the back, it's very simple. There's just an arm here that's collecting the bricks from over there, and it's putting bricks into this slot, which then fills up all of them because they're connected. And this one says no bricks, but it's also taking whatever's in here and putting it in the middle, which, as I say, in this case is ochrum. Because we're never going to need these bricks in absolutely huge amounts, I shouldn't think. So, yeah, this should work nicely for us. But enough about that. Let's get a big foundation down, stick down a building, and then see how many of these farms we can jam inside. And to be honest, when it comes to making the andesite, I might actually do that upstairs there. We can probably make a better job of it, potentially. But who knows? We'll see what space we have first. So I think a couple of platforms like that should do the trick. We'll have sugarcane over this side, because we're going to need quite a lot of space for that, I think. And then on the other side, we'll have pretty much everything else, I'd imagine. So we do need to go stock up on a few more building blocks. I think pallet-wise, we're going to be using some acacia like this at the bottom. We're probably going to use a little bit of limestone at the top on this side of the building. And on the other side, we'll use Dean bricks and maybe some spruce or something. Maybe a nice deep slate roof, because we've got quite a lot of mangrove roofs around here at the moment. Who knows? Let's just grab some blocks, put on some music, and see what we end up with. And don't panic, I will put some supports on the monorail soon. I have seen your messages. Short while later, I've got quite a cool looking building there. I think I like that. And there should be enough space in there to get the smaller farms that we need, hopefully. But the only way we're going to find out is when we start jamming them in, I guess. But before we do that, I want to stick down the secondary building here, which is going to be for our sugarcane. So let's see what we can do. Well, I'm pretty darn pleased with those, at least for now. I think they're going to do the job nicely, and they really do fit in with the area. And I have to say, I'm loving these train holes. They make great chimneys, they make really good sort of fluid tank type things. And with the Create Deco railings underneath as well, they have a nice bit of support. I just really like how this all looks. Although I appear to be missing some of my roof. I'm sure I textured that. There we go, a cheeky reload, and it's all come back. Good job. But as I was saying, we've done the easy bit. We've got the buildings up. I still need to do some texturing on the top of this one, but we'll get to that later. I really want to make a start on these farms, because the sooner we get them producing, the more stuff we're going to have to work with when we actually get to making the Blaze Cake Factory itself. So this building here is primarily going to be for sugarcane, but I've also got a small shed at the back here for the easiest of the farms. Eggs. And for this, we're just going to knock out a bit of the wall there. We will put some drawers there eventually, but for now, we'll just have a hopper. We're going to have a floor of hoppers. We'll chuck some carpet on top of those, just so the chickens don't get stuck in them. Then we'll just wall off a good chunk of this as well. And we'll just put a great big window on the back. Now, we just need a whole bunch of eggs, but I think we've got at least a stack, maybe a bit more than a stack, back home. And this is one of the examples when having these waystones saves me 10 minutes of recording time, because I can just hop here and go grab them. Those things are literally a game changer. So, 74 eggs. That'll do. So I think we'll just stand here and do this, and hopefully we'll get a decent amount of chickens. So from 70-something eggs, we've got about 10 chickens. That's not a lot of chickens. We're going to want more than that. So we'll just wait for them to grow up, and then we'll kind of just keep recycling the eggs around, I guess, until there's a decent amount in there. So we'll just stick a drawer on the outside here, and that will fill up with eggs. And then later on, we'll worry about how we get them over to the other factory. But for now, that's fine. First farm done. Easy peasy. For the next one, not so easy peasy. So next up, we need a sugarcane farm. And ideally, I kind of want 2 floors to this farm. So I don't really know how that's going to work out for space. But I think the first thing to do would be to rip out this floor here. So at least the bottom floor is sort of down a bit. And hopefully that will give us enough space to get a second floor of sugarcane in. And then we're going to have to figure out a device to harvest it all. But I reckon we might be able to sort of have a gantry maybe in the middle of the room that then does both sides. I don't know. We'll have to see. But let's just do what we know we can do first and sort out this first floor. So that's the bottom layer of the farm in. I just need to work out how I'm actually going to harvest it now. Because now I think of it, I don't think we can actually have a row here because we need somewhere for the harvester to actually park. So let's quickly get something built up. Do we have any harvesters? 6. We might need a few more than that. And maybe a gantry shaft is going to be our best bet here. So if we had a gantry shaft at this height, and then we need one of these. We'll stick the gantry chassis on there with a barrel for storage, and then we can just stick the harvesters to the front of this, I think. Although we're going to need some temporary blocks at the back here. Just got to make a few more harvesters because we're going to need some for the second floor as well. And I think we can pretty much just glue that together now. But I don't want these blocks here, ideally. If we glue that to that, and then just glue all the harvesters together, that should be good. Power's going to be interesting. I guess we're going to have to sort of come in from the outside around this area. Maybe we should figure this out first before we work out how the second floor's going to go. So if we put a couple of chain drives in here, what I need to do is get a sequenced gear shift, which I don't think we have any of. It's okay, we can make one. And let me think about this. We're actually going to need to knock all this back another block. So we could literally just do that and then power the gear shift there, and then we're going to have to put all the redstone bits to make it work over here. But that should be okay. We can just use panels on the other side of the wall to hide it. But what we want it to do is to go probably about 12 meters or so in each direction, and then wait for another redstone pulse. And then we'll set something up so that when it gets back here, it just goes off again. And then it should just go backwards and forwards the whole time. Although in thinking about it, it would make more sense to put this on the other side. Let's just block that up again and move over here. So we'll put the sequence gear shift there. We'll just set this up again. And it's nice to see my chickens are grown up. So I think what we're going to need are some redstone bits and bobs. Let's see if we can figure this out. What we need to do is basically give off a pulse every time this gets home, basically. So if we were to put one of these down the bottom here and glue that to that, put the receiver on there, you can see that's getting a redstone signal now. And then observers, maybe? Do we have any? We've got a few. So we'll check for a change there. We'll send that signal up. And then we need to send that signal into here. So, do they have a pulse delay thing? Pulse extender? Pulse repeater. I think maybe a pulse repeater is what we want. And what do I need? Brass, redstone, and some kind of block. So that was redstone, brass sheets, and some blocks. Grab some redstone as well. We're going to be needing that. So if we put the pulse repeater there, set that to a couple of seconds, so 40 ticks. Is that getting a signal? Going to power that? That's the question. Let's have a find out. No, it's not. That's okay, not a problem. It just means we have to do that instead. But that should now trigger this 2 seconds after it arrives back. At least that's the hope. So let's give that thing some power. We need to go around the back here, dig down behind these barrels, and find a power cable to connect to. Glad I covered that lava pit. That could have been dangerous. I think if we just dig a little hole across here, this should connect us up nicely. So this thing should have power now if we just give this a jump start. So do that. That should wait 2 seconds and then spin. Wow, that's fast. Okay, so it works, but it might be a bit fast. I think we can proper slow this down though. I think it only needs to fire maybe once a minute. That should be more than enough. We also need to put a storage interface on this. And I reckon we can just stick one there and then glue that together. So that'll exit over here. We'll put something on the other side to actually take that out, I guess. So I guess once again for now, we could literally just have a drawer, chute, and another storage interface. Also really want to slow this thing down. So let's head underground and sort that out. So let's just break this here. And if we just do this, and there we go. That's going much slower now. So that's a much better speed. Let's see if the interfaces connect. So it looks like it does connect. It's just done another run and the barrel is now empty and it definitely harvested some stuff. So I guess that works. So let's see about getting a second level on here, shall we? What I want to know is, can you put gantries opposite each other? You can. Aha. Well, this could make things easier. Let's just see if the top one's going to move as well. It is. Well, that's going to make this nice and easy then. I'll bring you back in once the job's done. And there we go. I think we're just about done. This thing's setting off. We've got everything connected. Although I should probably rotate that a bit so it looks a little bit more connected maybe. But everything's harvesting. It's all unloading. And we're getting lots of sugar cane. This is good. Let's just rotate this beam slightly. There we go. That makes more sense, slightly. So we're halfway to the second resource we need. We've got our sugar cane. We just need to convert it into sugar, but we'll do that in the next building. And let's see how our eggs are doing. We've got 56, not bad, nowhere near good enough. I guess we need more chickens. Let's chuck all these in there, and we'll most likely be back to fill that up even more a bit later. Now, if we check our list, we've done the eggs, we've done the sugarcane, and the lava pit, I think, is actually reached its max now. Let's have a quick look. Okay, so, yep, bottomless supply. Excellent. Although I have put this tank here, and this should be taking lava out of here, but it's not. That's weird. So I've just broken and replaced this. Let's lower it down again and, well, see what happens. Well, it doesn't say it's bottomless anymore and it's taking it out. What is your problem? Let's just pump all that back in. Yeah, apparently suddenly it's not a bottomless supply anymore, so let's just pump a little bit more in. So there's definitely something bugged out with this because it fills till it says it's infinite, and as soon as I pump something out, it's not infinite anymore. So I think I need to somehow add a few extra blocks in, and I've done a little bit of research. And basically, I need to mess around with the config here. We've gone to create, then server, then fluids, and I've just turned on fill infinite. Because what was happening is it would get to be a bottomless pit, and any extra lava coming in was just getting voided. But then as soon as we went to pump, it would take a block, and then it wouldn't be infinite anymore. And even just adding a few extra blocks around the edge didn't seem to work. So we're just going to pump a whole load more lava in here, and hopefully that'll do the trick. And that is continuing to fill up now. So hopefully when that's finished, we'll actually have infinite lava. What a weird bug. Hopefully that fixes it. So I guess that means we can't tick off the lava pit yet, but we can at least make a start on these other things. But we're only 2.5 farms in, and we're already 20 minutes into the episode, so the chances of us getting all of this done looking pretty slim. So I'm going to focus on everything that we need apart from the netherrack. We might just bypass that and use a little bit of our storage for now, and that way we can just focus on getting the sugar, the cinder flour, the blaze cake bases, and of course, the blaze cakes themselves. So if we save upstairs for making netherrack, we need to think about cinder flour. In fact, before we even do that, we need to think about power. So let's get some power up here. So I've got power up here, and for cinder flour, if we're going to be bringing that in from upstairs, I think this makes the most sense, because then we can just feed it directly in. So if we do it like this, for now, we can manually collect some netherrack and put it in there, and then that will turn it into cinder flour down here. And we've also got a chute going into the back there, so once we get the farm running up here, we can also send down more netherrack. But we've got a couple of other things to consider, because if this is creating cinder flour, we have to bear in mind, we haven't actually made sugar yet. Instead, we just have sugar cane. But I have an easy solution for this, and that is just going to be to use a millstone with a bit of jiggery pokery down here and a gearbox set to vertical. We can power that as well, stick another chute in, and a box to get the sugarcane into. But of course, at the moment, the sugarcane is all the way over there. But of course, that just means we need lots of spruce trim. I think that's going to be the best way to connect these two bits without cluttering up outside here, because I'm going to need this space for something else. So let's just get all these connected together. And I guess while we're here, we might as well hook up the eggs as well. And then to make sure all of this is going to play nicely together, let's stick a draw controller in. Thinking about it, we're also going to need to link these together. Then if we swap out the normal chute we had here for a smart chute, make sure it's only going to grab sugarcane, and then put a draw controller slave there, then that's going to produce loads of sugar for us. Look at that, wonderful. Right, I'm going to quickly run off and grab a little bit of netherrack just so we can lock this drawer as well as cinder flour. So if we put loads of netherrack in there, what have we got? 1,500. That's going to make us lots and lots of cinder flour. Certainly more than enough to get us started. So we have cinder flour, we have sugar, and, well, we've got eggs over there as well, and it should all be connected to the system. So all we need to do now is to make some blaze cake bases, which I reckon we can do over here. It should be fairly straightforward. And then we need to pump lava into those to make blaze cakes, and then send them off into the power plant. And we're going to be sending them over via this tunnel here. We're probably just going to use trims again, to be honest. Keeps things nice and simple. I almost got hit by a train. And that means we're going to need a path up there from the inside, but that's easy enough. And just stick a bunch of spruce trims in here. It should be simple as that, really. And that's where we're going to store our blaze cakes. And now we have an end goal, we can probably work out what to do with the rest of this here. And I reckon this can be pretty straightforward, actually. So if we set up a bunch of funnels here to only remove one item at a time, set those to filter by cinder flour, sugar, and eggs. And then if we actually put the slave controller back, that gives us everything we need. That's all the ingredients. And we're going to need to get power over here, so maybe we should do that underground a little bit. So that's going to give us power over here for the mechanical arm, and of course, we're going to need power for this as well. So let's set the arm to take from those three, deposit into there, and just hang that upside down. Then that's going to want a cog right there. Oh, and we're going to set this to forced round robin as well, just to make sure we always end up with an even amount of ingredients in there. And we need to get some power to this thing up here as well. Guess it's going to have to be a gearbox. So that should do it. And there we go, our first blaze cake. Let's just set the filter for those. Or blaze cake base, I should say. And now what we need to do is fill these with lava. And I don't think I have any spouts at the moment. But we're going to need tanks and pipes and mechanical pumps as well anyway. But how do we make a spout? Oh, well, that's easy. Not that I have any kelp on me. I still don't have a kelp farm. One of these days, I swear I'll make one. But for now, we're just going to steal some from the ocean. Oh, we already had some in our smoker. That's handy. Sometimes past Beardstone can actually be useful. Right, there's a spout. So we can literally just dump that around here somewhere, and then we're going to get some pipes in. And I do like the idea of there being a little storage of lava in this room. And we're going to need a pump there, and then we need to power that. So let's maybe grab the power from there. Send it over this way, chuck in a gearbox, set that to vertical and that way, and a cog. Wonderful. Well, that was nice and easy. But I should probably think about getting all this hooked up as well, actually. There we go. So that's all the cakes coming. We just need to sort out the lava situation. Speaking of which, how's this pit coming along? Well, it's certainly looking a lot more full. Let's see if it works as an actual infinite lava pit now. Well, it's taken a whole bunch of trial and error. I don't actually know what the problem was. We have filled it up an extra couple of levels, but I was still having the same issue. I've just broken and replaced this a few times, and now it does seem to be working. It still says it's a bottomless supply, and it's pumping out lava into this tank. So yeah, definitely working now. But that means all we have to do now is connect up this tank to the lava source. Oh, look at that. That's some pretty good placement, in my opinion. Now, look at that. We're getting lava. We're getting blaze cakes. We're making a mess of the blaze cakes, but we're getting them. And there we go. We're now collecting all the blaze cakes. They're going into that box there. Let's grab some keys so we can see how many we've got. So we're up to 66 already. That's not bad. And if we put some upgrades on these drawers, we should be able to store loads of sugar and cinder flour, as well as the sugar cane and eggs, of course. But I need to make some of those. I think we've got a few diamonds over here. That should do it. Yep, still got 56. Let's take most of those. And I need some sticks. So if we use those upgrades, many sticks, and a couple of diamonds in each one. 8 upgrades, that should be enough for now. So we'll stick that on there. Oh, we're not doing too bad. Over 300 eggs. One on there, one on there. One there too. And you never know, we might need one on the blaze cakes as well. Now, I think I just want to make this downstairs area look nice. It just doesn't at the moment. Not even slightly. A very short while and a few blocks later, I think we've tidied things up a little bit. We've just got some safety fences up, got a few girders in to hold things on, and we've covered up some of the storage drawers that just looked a bit out of place. I've also added in a few extra windows around the back here so you can actually see the trains go past, which is quite nice. And a bit of lighting, of course. But I have left this area blank because, of course, we do still need to be making andesite, bringing that over here, and then turning that into netherrack, which means we're going to need some kind of a drop-off area for that. So that's what we'll be using the space over there for. And on the outside, I forgot to mention, but you may have noticed earlier, I do actually have a couple of sort of brackety type things holding up the monorail now. Really quite difficult to do. Not sold on them, so if you've got any ideas, do let me know. But at least it's not free floating, and these shipping containers can still go through. And something else that was pointed out to me is you can actually put 2 signals on a railway line, and it looks much better. No idea what the second one does, but it looks cool. So I have upgraded all of those as well, and they're looking pretty good. Although the Blaze Cake Factory is technically working, I still have to manually feed it with netherrack, which means we need an andesite source. A much better one than the one we've currently got. And we'll probably sort that by building another factory over here, making andesite using the gravel, flint and lava, send that round via a truck, I guess, to a delivery system over here, and then we can make the netherrack upstairs, which will make this a fully self-sustaining Blaze Cake farm, without me having to manually load it up with netherrack every now and then. But sadly, that's going to have to wait for the next episode, because we're all out of time here. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.